fishing, it's in my soul.
Welcome to the Salt Strong Podcast, disrupting fishing entertainment as you know it. Prepare to laugh. Prepare to get to know fishing legends in a whole new and unfiltered way. And on occasion, you might even learn a thing or two about fishing. Here's your host, Joe Simons. Like diamonds.
The sea was angry that day, my friend. Hey, everybody, Joe Simons, like diamonds.
Hey, Luke Simons, we have a windy day and we thought we'd do a contest.
Yep. So, the contest is the old Slam Shady 2.0 on a 1/4 ounce jig head versus...
Really the same thing, but on under a popping cork. So popping cork versus no popping cork.
And we're here in April of 2024. And yes, we are covered with jackets, even though it was like 85 degrees last week. It is cold. We got a little last cold front of the year, hopefully.
Yep.
It's windy, it's choppy, it's brutal. And a lot of people say, hey, I got the day off. What do I do when it's like this? Well, we're about to find out if popping cork and we're hitting just a little grass / flat. And what do we got? 4 or 5 feet of water. And we're just trying to catch trout, maybe some little redfish that might be roaming around. And we're down here in beautiful Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and so we're basically on the outside edge of a grass flat, which is for the, I just had one. But for this type of area, this is a great spot to find all sorts of fish, but particularly trout. It's about 2.5, 3 feet of water on that grass flat, and right now, Joe's already on.
Slam Shady 2.0 jig head is on.
And right now, where we are is about, as Joe said, about like 3 to 5 range. Kind of has the grass has some. Whoa! Watch out for those cormorants.
Cormorants.
So first one on the jig head.
All right, not a huge trout. Whoa! Oh boy. Hold on a little bit.
Yeah, definitely put it on the other side of the boat for those cormorants.
Off the back.
And so a benefit, so as far as the pros and cons, the pro of this popping cork is it makes a bunch of racket. If any trout is within, I don't know, 5, 10 feet, it's gonna hear it, it's gonna attract it, it's gonna come, look for the source of the sound, and then eventually see that lure underneath it. Whereas with Joe's, with that jig head, without the popping cork, he can cover water a lot faster. So it's really the question of, is the advantage to call the fish in with sound or to cover more water without having the popping cork. So we will see, I guess, quantity and quality. So we'll do, keep track of both.
It's kind of like as in real life. I'm a little bit faster and agile.
I don't know about that.
Well, maybe not anymore, but growing up, the majority of our lives. You've been playing some tennis recently.
Back in '82.
Yeah, back in the '80s and '90s. Boy, that Joe could run. Watch out there, comrade.
Yeah, so those birds, they're getting a bunch of pinfish. I'm gonna try one a little bit shallower, see how that does.
So if you guys haven't watched the mono versus fluoro, ooh, that was a nice hit there. Might actually been a ladyfish that came in so hot. The mono versus fluoro, it's about a 17-minute video where we really talked about the truth about these different leader lines. And we talked about mono in general, and then fluoro, has both the normal fluoro that you can buy kind of like in a bulk spool, and you also have the leader lines. I think it's probably going to be one of our most commented on and even debated videos, and a lot of people switching, which is really interesting. We won't say what they're switching to. A lot of people switching. If you haven't seen it, check it out. You can Google it, YouTube it. We've got it free for Insider members, and if you're not an Insider member, you have to put in your email to see the full video. I saw just this week, Luke. It was one of the guys in the Bassmaster Classic was talking about the one of the biggest myths about line, and because we're talking about catching these little 5-pound fish, right? And a lot of these bass guys are using 50 and 60-pound braided line, right?
Yep.
And someone asked him about line. He's like, honestly, I've been doing this my whole life. I get paid to do this. He goes, I don't think the line matters much at all, like in terms of fish seeing it. He's like, I've had fish that I know could probably see that line. All these fish care about their reactionary, and they care about the presentations. He's like, I focus more on getting the perfect presentation, meaning I want all my lures rigged right. I want them looking right in front of their face. I don't even give two hoots how thick my line is or if it's invisible or not. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I disagree with that. I mean, there is a point where it's too thick. Like even catching pinfish, you use a 20-pound mono versus the 30, you're going to catch
he's not
more.
trying to catch pinfish for a living either. He's talking about a predator reactionary fish.
I understand, but the fact even a dumb pinfish can tell the difference.
Well, that's his point.
I just got tailed.
That's his point, is the fish see the line and don't care. If you get a presentation that's juicy enough in front of their face, it doesn't matter, is his point. He's saying they can see it and don't care. Ooh, oh, I had another one on. I just lost him. A little dinker.
What I'm saying is the pinfish can see it and they do care, right? Like they at some point they do care.
Joe, you with me? This guy's not trying to catch pinfish. He's trying to catch.
All right, so we'll go out, and once the sun comes up and go after some sight fishing reds, you can throw 40-pound mono, and we'll see who catches the most fish. There is a limit.
Oh, I completely agree. I'm telling you his point of someone who's making more money than you and I combined catching fish for a living is saying it's a big myth to focus all your attention on the line.
Yeah, more focus should be on the presentation for sure. Can't forget about the line though. We need to move spots.
But it was more trying to prove that people who are buying the most expensive flora because it's invisible, it doesn't matter. Man, this wind is brutal. All right, where them trout go? But hey, this is real life, right? This is a lot of these videos that we've done in the past are what people like the most. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please use your chance to comment and like below. Subscribe if you haven't already.
Yeah, what we're doing is the wind's so windy, I just have the power pole, so I've just been pinning us down. And so we'll move up another cast length and I'll pin us back down. That way we can cover all this zone. This water's pretty milky, and so if we don't get real close to them, we're not going to catch them.
Yep.
And right now the thing's only been up for a second. We're starting to move pretty darn quick.
I would have thought the Cork would have been.
Yeah, me too.
Crushing it. Give that extra. What was that out
something
there?
Just hit out there.
Did you see that?
Yeah, that was big.
Is that a mackerel or something?
Probably.
Thing went airborne. Whoop. Oh, I'm getting hits. There we go. Golly. I feel like there's a bunch of ladyfish over here just
it might be.
swiping.
I just heard some bait too. We'll go pin us back down right here.
Yeah, this area is looking better. Oh, Luke. Oh, you had a hit there.
I did, yep.
Yeah, I could deal without this this last little cold front. Although we just had a really cool, so Salt Strong, if you don't know, we've got chapters in most major cities. There's 17 of them now. And we wanted as a thank you to these chapter presidents, because each chapter has a president. Man, you can hear this wind when I turn around. Someone who's leading it. And we wanted to just do a thank you and took them on a 2-day all expenses paid fishing trip, and it was just such a blast. And we have most of the chapters are in Florida, Texas, Alabama, but mostly Florida. But we have one up northeast, and he kind of runs that New Jersey, Pennsylvania chapter. And he was like, yeah, I'm literally going back to snow here in April. And I was like, that's just brutal. We're pretty lucky that we're complaining that it's 65 degrees or something, and we're frozen. What happened?
Had a solid fish on and got off.
Hey. Oh, casting right next to me, huh? Yeah, I'm gonna slow down the retrieve. I wonder if they're a little bit deeper. Let's see if that changes it. So what would you do if you're in a kayak here? You're gonna try to, ooh, a nice hit there.
Same thing, either get a drift shock or anchor pin.
There we go. All right, that's 2 for Joe.
Yeah.
Man, this is so small. Might get the dink
I
award.
don't know if that one counts.
Trout's a trout. Trout is a trout. I'm just a little guy. I think that's what's a lot of the stuff that's in there, because I'm getting hit. It feels like every cast. I gotta go away from these doggone birds. Get them off the back real quick. Yeah, these, was it cormorants? I
I believe it has an R in there, so. Yeah,
if you're wondering what other equipment we're using, 10-pound braid. I assume you have 10-pound braid, or you have lighter?
I've got 7.
You got 7. I'm using 10-pound braid, still catching fish, so I don't think you need to go down to 7 personally. And
Yeah, not in the wind.
20-pound mono, and using a 7.6. This is one of the kind of prototypes of the slot machine rod. And I have a Daiwa Exist. Don't need a Daiwa Exist to catch trout, I will tell you that. But it does feel nice.
Yeah, and the slop right here, the line diameter doesn't matter, but for sight fishing reds up in the shallows, especially in high pressure areas like Tampa Bay,
Oh, there we go.
Going from a 10 down to a 7 is a big deal.
Dude, Slam Shady 2.0 with jig head.
It's working.
So far in the lead.
Dominating.
A little bit bigger trout. All right.
Do you still have your tail on?
Yeah, still have my tail.
All right, I might switch back to
All right,
tail
let me
when I'm
get
going
my
nub
pliers
style.
and make sure these birds do not get this thing.
Yeah, so far, the covering more water is having the advantage on the jig head without the popping cork. Because basically this is just a lot slower. I have to pop it and then let it settle down, pop it, let it settle down. And they just have not been responding to it. Last time we did this, the popping cork was winning, so it's every day's a little bit different. With this cold front, they might just be holding close to the bottom and not willing to come up. That's my guess.
All right. Back in action.
Like have you been feeling the thumps, or they just kind of
Oh, wouldn't you like to know?
grabbing it?
No, I'm getting hits pretty much every cast.
All right,
They're out
okay.
there. But there's a bunch of small ones, or it's either ladyfish that just aren't connected. Hold on, got my leader tied around. Man, this wind is just gnarly. What is it blowing right now?
Well, according to the forecast, is to be 5 to 10.
Yeah, this is not. What is it really? It's 20, you think?
That's at least 15. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, it feels like 18 to 20.
Go put on a new lure.
Oh, what are you doing? Giving up on the cork? Remember, Joel was pretty funny. Luke's like, all right, which one do you want? I was like, I'll give you the cork. I'm gonna let you look good today. Whoa! Oh, dude! Do you hear that? Drag kick coming in on that one, whatever that was.
Probably a sail cat.
No, it was something that it could have been, actually. Dang. There might have been a red. Someone just took me right down in the dirty. All right. Luke, let's talk about brand new slot machine. I know we're still a little ways out, but we've been working tirelessly around the clock on a new slot machine.
Yep.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah, I have it right here. New cool logo on it.
So what's the difference? Why is this new and improved?
It's lighter. So have a new manufacturer involved, and they found a way to make the same feel rod, so the same overall flex as far as power and action, but they're able to take out over 1/2 ounce, which is a big deal. So now this is like, it's literally one of the lightest rods I've ever used that can have the power to cast weedless lures to red, snook, and trout. Been a whole lot of fun.
Oh, right, yeah, in your face, Paul.
We're gonna anchor down here.
I went out to the left that time, a little bit deeper towards that channel. Yeah, so we're in just 3.5, 4 feet of water. Watch out there, Luke. Watch out there, Luke.
What's going on?
Oh boy. Get this guy out of here.
Get over it.
It's a little bit bigger one, actually. So, what do you know? You go out a little bit deeper towards this channel. The trizz out start getting slightly
That's crazy.
bigger.
This popping cork is getting dominated.
Well, it's funny, last time it didn't, so you just never know.
I'm going down deeper now. Yeah, so this rod though, yeah, it's just super lightweight. It's incredibly light, and this is a prototype reel that we're working on as well. And the combined weight of the rod and the reel, oh, there we are, is around 11 ounces. Ah, dang it, got off. So 11 ounces for the rod and the reel for the entire combo. That is crazy. Like back in the day, I used to use, you know, the 4,000 size reels for inshore fishing, thinking I needed something big like that, and just the reel alone was 11 ounces, not without the rod.
Yeah.
So the fact that the entire combo is that light has been, it's just been a thrill to fish with. You can literally feel everything.
Yeah. Speaking of that, we're gonna do probably a little comparison video on just the castability of some of the old school stuff we used to use, because we fished with some people over the past year, and a lot of times they bring equipment that, and this is not about having expensive equipment, this is about just having newer age, lighter equipment, and the correct rod. I mean, if you go out doing this stuff where you're trying to make long casts like that with a super heavy duty live bait rod, which we've seen people bring, and their 4,000 reel, you're not going to have the same success. And so we're going to do a little comparison here coming up, so stay tuned on how big of a difference it makes to have just the correct equipment. Not expensive, correct. This is a big difference.
And,
a lot of people think, I have to have the newest. Yeah,
and how to set it up correctly as well. So one thing, I took some people out. There had 4 people on the boat. They all brought their own gear, and I could immediately tell at the beginning who was going to catch the most fish. It all came down to casting. How well were they casting? And most of the time, in many of the cases, it wasn't that the angler was doing something special or unique or bad as far as the actual cast. It's the equipment they were using. And so one violation that pretty much everybody was making who weren't casting very far, that was costing them fish, is line gap. They had way too much gap, and I'm talking about the edge from the line on the spool to the edge of this lip here. So the wider that gap, the more distance the braid has to go. Right when it's shooting off, it has to go a longer distance to go up over the lip and through the guides. The bigger that gap, I guess the least effective you can cast. And conversely, right, the least amount of gap you have, the farther you're gonna be able to cast. Just so you know though, if you go all the way to the rim, or as you get close to the rim, you increase your odds of wind knots. So you need to just be mindful to just be aware of wind knots when you get a small gap. That just means keep the line tight when you're retrieving at all points, and you won't have any issues.
You're kind of just towing the line, right? Of overdoing it, and
yeah.
In the worst cases, I would say overdo it and find out that you're getting wind knots, cut it out.
Yeah.
Put it in your pocket, throw away later, and then now you have the perfect amount. All right, another trout for JoJo if you're listening.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
So
get out of here, you stinking birds.
Yeah, these birds are out of control. So yeah, so what we're seeing here is that after the cold front, those fish are holding low, and popping cork is a disadvantage. Just a week and a half ago, we did this, and the weather was warmer. We weren't wearing all these jackets, and the popping cork was dominating. So big lesson. Kind of confirmation of what we teach is after cold fronts, low and slow is going to get the most action. This water here is only about, check the depth finder. It's only about 4. It's like 3.5 according to the depth finder. So it's really about 4 to 4.5. And just the fact that my lure is getting stuck, right? It can't go down more than 20 inches because of the popping cork. That's just preventing me from getting many strikes. I've had a couple, but I've lost them.
And I don't know if you recall, I don't know, we were just a couple minutes into this. I said, hey, I'm going to try to change it up and do a little bit more of a pause and let it sit. And now I've been getting more hits. All right. So let's see what we got here. All right, so back to the slot machine rod. When is it we're gonna say May 1st-ish?
Yeah, hopefully mid-May. Mid-May will be a safe bet. And we'll start getting them in production. They're gonna be going fast, so they'll kind of be coming in probably every 2 to 4 weeks.
Nice. Yeah, and just better components. Just we upgraded everything we could.
Yeah, we're
And
gonna have
hopefully
the nice Fuji
won't
guides.
have to change the price too. Maybe just a little bit of worst case.
It'll have to go up a little bit, but yeah, it's just better all around.
But it's still going to be, for Insider members, over $100 off. You'll still be in the $200 and something range for what would definitely cost you $400 plus for that same rod with one of the other, we won't say brands, but you guys can probably figure it out.
Yeah, I've tested a lot of rods, even customs, and others, $400, $500 plus, and this thing is, in my opinion, better, hands down. It's just a very high modulus blank with the guide spacing that is perfectly optimized to get long casts with 2,500 size reels, and just the feel and castability is just absolutely awesome. And now that it's even lighter than before, man,
that was
total
a nice
game
hit
changer.
right there next to the boat. It's like we're in that original honey hole. We were catching them all, and I'm going to go right off to the side. It was a big hit there, Bob. But yeah, days like this is, you got to make lemonade out of some lemons. It's tough. I mean, it's the area that we were going to go try to catch redfish. I mean, it just didn't have any water, and we're in the 24-foot Pathfinder. There's no way we can even get back there. So like, all right, let's go make a trout day. We're not going to give up, sit at home and knit sweaters.
Yeah, one thing.
Although Luke would prefer to do that.
One thing for many years.
Look at those things fighting over that pinfish. Watch out for my
big
life,
pinfish.
fool.
But one thing I didn't factor in years ago is the wind impact to tides. And so, yeah, again, the forecast was 5 to 10 today. It clearly is not that. And the fact that the wind is coming, it's basically blowing offshore, means that even though the tide level was high enough where we should be able to get up on some shallow flats where I've been seeing some redfish, the fact that this wind is starting to blow fast and is blowing all the water out, we now have to wait probably an hour and a half before we can get up on the shallows. So that wind impact, once it gets over 10 miles an hour, if it's blowing offshore, in many cases that can be like a 6 to even 10-inch difference in some cases. So be sure to keep that in mind when you're planning your trip.
All right, so we're moving. No, we're power pull back down again.
Yep.
You still getting hits? Like
Not
this
in a
area
while.
is not as productive as it was back there. You might have to go around and do another run here. But let's keep going a little bit more. So we still got the edge of that channel ahead of us, right?
Yep.
We still got these stinking birds around us, just annihilating pinfish. Crazy how fast they are underwater.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're not getting
nuts.
any hits out there?
I'll go a little bit further out. Watch your rod there, Bob. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there, Bob. After this, though, we're going to be in a little summer transition coming up soon, huh?
Yeah, we went. We were already there for a few weeks till this front.
That means hitting some beaches again and
Topwater action,
topwater.
reef.
The skinny lipper. Although you did pretty well last week with the skinny lipper, I heard, huh? I wasn't on the boat with you. Wasn't that one evening you guys went out and you were using skinny lipper and no one else was catching anything?
Yeah, I got some action. It was getting some action early this morning too when we were poking around a couple different spots. But yeah, it's starting to get good. That skinny lipper is basically like a blend between a topwater and a jerkbait. And oh dang! But I was using it today to just, it makes a lot of noise and has really good darting motion. And I was using it today, got a lot more action than I am with this popping cork, that's for sure.
There we go, baby. JoJo's back on.
Yep.
I'm gonna bring this trout through these stinking fish as fast as I can.
To the cormorants.
Golly, look at these things. Cormorants are just ruthless. It's a little bit nicer one too there. Not a huge trout still, but getting close to that keeper size there, Bob. She's a beaut, Clark. She's a beaut. We got to find ways to trick these cormorants
This is insane that the popping cork hasn't caught any. The power of depth control is being shown in this video. Because we're literally using the same lure, his is getting down an extra 1.5 to 2 feet. Because if this was, yeah, again, just last week, the popping cork was totally dominating the non-popping cork.
Another misconception. This is still the original Slam Shady 2.0 I've been using with a little Dr. Juice. A lot of people, they lose their tails, it gets eaten, and they think it's trout. It's not trout.
Yep.
Earlier today, before we started this, I was getting the tail bitten off, but it was all little pinfish and some puffers. Those trout, as Luke has shown over and over again.
Oh, yeah. Somebody's on.
Oh, but don't you worry, I'm getting a hit
it's
too.
A Cinderella story.
Dude, you're still like 3 or 4 behind.
Right, come back. Go back time.
But these trout, as Luke has shown underwater today, inhale.
Get over the cormorants. Whoa, got him. All right, officially on the board. I'll take it. I'll straight arm that one to make it look bigger.
The irony is I just tried to set the hook on a small little pinfish and lost my tail. But anyhow, those trout, they eat it like a fat guy in a buffet line scarfing down a little pancake. It's just all in. Rarely, if ever, are they biting the tails off. Not to say it can't happen, but it's usually not the issue. Let's see if I still get hits without the tail. I think that tail is critical of this win. Normally I'd say stick with the nub.
Yeah,
but I think with this water all a little bit dirty, yeah, I got no hits at all. I am finally gonna trade it out.
Yeah, so, I just had another hit there. So yeah, in springtime, that nub style is actually really good, really effective, because what happens in the spring, a lot of times the bait fish is really small. Like if you're out, there we are. Oh, lost them. But if you're out and you see a bunch of looks like little raindrops, those are little small, real small minnows. And when the fish get dialed into those, even the big fish, like even I've caught a lot of upper slot snook and redfish. That nub, dang, I got another hit. When those fish are dialed into when the predators are dialed into the small stuff, which is when they're around in big numbers, that smaller nub, right, the lure without the tail, does a better job of mimicking it because it's the right size, and it works the best. It'll be the best lure you have. But in conditions like this, where this water's all chalked up and kind of milky looking, that vibration from the tail is really needed for the fish to be able to find it.
All right, so I'm back with tail on.
I almost just caught
Shady 2.0.
2 in a row. I had another one on for a second.
Oh, wow, now you know what it feels like to be. Oh, wow. The showboat there.
Talking trash.
Well, I'm still in quite an affordable lead here. Might even take a little siesta. Yeah, what's crazy, I'm already getting hits. That might have been a little pinfish. I feel like I lost my tail again. God dang. That's back to back. All right, I'm sticking with it now. But lesson learned, don't do what I do. The trout, you'll know when a trout hits versus like the little pinfish. You tend to still get excited and set the hook, and that's what happens, is these little ankle biters are just kind of biting off that tail. And normally if you just kind of keep reeling slowly, they'll let go of it because they don't want to get pulled by the car. But if you do what I do and jerk back real quick, that's when you lose your tail. All right, I'm still getting the small ones to hit it, but no triz out.
Yeah, it's interesting. I guess I did have a pinfish mess with mine earlier.
Dang. Look, yeah, I just lost a little bit more of my tail. Those little dingle hoppers. One other thing too, if you're not yet an insider member, we are going to be raising the prices. It is now official. Oh, look at that though. Might be the biggest one of the day on the nub. No, not the biggest one of the day. It just felt really big. We are going to be raising prices. The good news is we are not raising prices on existing insider members. Kind of one of our brand promises from the get-go is that once you're in for life as long as you're an active member. So you will be locked in. So this is a great time if you're on the fence or used to be a member and want to rejoin, to join us and lock in your rates. We are going to be raising it like 50%. And a couple reasons. We got some really cool stuff coming. Number two, we haven't raised prices since we started the company. So it's kind of a, man, I got to find a place in the back to trick these birds. Make some noise in the front, Luke.
Yeah, those birds, unfortunately, a lot of areas around here, the birds have just realized that boats, whoa, there we are, that boats have fish coming up to them, right? And also just as we're drifting around, we're scaring up a lot of small pinfish and stuff, and those birds have realized that humans won't mess with them because it's illegal to, and they will be tracking your boat, which is frustrating.
That was a little nicer trout there.
Yep, getting bigger.
Whoa. You caught that one on the deeper side, huh?
Maybe.
What? Tell me where you caught it. All right. Getting a little too shallow on that side. Stinking birds. They're brutal. Anyhow, what I was saying is we're raising prices, so get in now. Lock it in, and you will have that rate for life. Like I said, some cool stuff coming with both the chapters, with the community, with the app, with some tournaments, with some huge giveaways, a lot of new tackle discounts, a lot of new partner discounts. We're going to be piling it on over the next 12 months.
Whammy!
You got a nice one?
Ooh, this one does feel bigger.
Wow.
The comeback kid happening. Ooh, yeah, it's definitely bigger.
Does it feel good to beat up with someone without any legs? I don't even have any. I don't have a tail on. Oh, that's a solid one.
Yeah, this should be
I saw him.
At least a keeper size for sure. Oh yeah.
This one's not to say we should feed it to the birds, because we're not, but that one might be too big for the birds to eat. Yeah, that's a beaut, Clark.
This thing's hefty too. It's a fatty. Whoa, watch out there, bird.
All right, so Pop and Cork this time caught the biggest one.
Let's see. At
least so far.
Still not a giant, but
he's young.
Whoa, that bird.
Yeah, compared to what we were catching. Man, these birds are still going after that big thing. It's like bigger than the...
That's a respectable trout.
Yeah,
there.
dude, that's a legit trout there.
We'll get him in the sun. Yeah, this thing's got a belly on him too.
Yeah,
that's probably I don't know, 17 or 18, something like that. Big old belly on the cork.
Cork it. Cool, man. Let's end it there with this keeper. So Cork. Whoa! Dr. Popper caught the biggest. The jig head, I'm about to replace mine, but using a small little jig head there. I think this is the Z-Man one, but I have Z-Man. I got the Haas. What's the Haas round eye?
Haas round eye is what I'm using.
So it obviously doesn't really matter.
Yeah, there it is right there. It's just a good all-purpose jig head. You can bounce bottom, you can swim it, you can do everything with it.
Yep. But let us know what other kind of versus contests, reviews, comparisons you want us to do. This one hopefully is helpful just for any of you that get out there on your day off and it's like this, where it's just crazy windy, the weatherman's wrong, the tides are wrong because wind has pushed the water in the wrong direction that you're trying to fish. And this is just one of the easiest ways. I mean, just what, in 30 or so minutes?
Yeah.
35 minutes, we just caught a, I don't know, what, 12?
Decent amount of trout.
Yeah, trout. It was fun.
And I don't know if you talk about the popping cork or not, but this is called the Dr. Popper. What I like about it, even though it got beat today, is I like it just where it's instead of most pop corks that have the hard wire, it's really, you can't really pack it, and at least none of my tackle trays will hold it. It's made out of mono, so I could just jam it down into a tackle tray. It's easy to store. It's always there for situations like this, or actually windy situations when it's not a cold front. This would actually have a big advantage, like we did on the last experiment. Clearly on this one, that this cold weather was pushing the fish down, which just makes overall popping corks not as effective as jig heads. But cool popping cork, Dr. Popper, only at fishstrong.com.
Yep, and we had a question come in just recently, so I'll address it about using the prawn on the popping cork, and the answer is heck yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Situation like this, we probably would have done just as good, if not better. Little Dr. Juice. So yeah, 100% you can use the prawn underneath corks like that.
Because what happens when I pop it, it basically just pops the lure up 6 inches and then it glides back down. So it has a really good retrieve, whether it's shrimp or paddle tail, it all works. Even spoons, people use weedless spoons on it too.
That's it. So guys, appreciate you. Go sign up for the Insider Club if you're not a member already at saltshore.com. If you are, thank you guys so much. A lot of cool stuff coming. We appreciate you big time, and we're going to try to find a way to get out of this wind if possible.
Peace. See ya.
'Cause fishing, it's in my soul, it was pain.